How's it going, guys? Coffee here. Today I wanted to go over the update for the Thea mind control build. We have pushed the build to about 130 billion DPS now. For this, it's like it can comfortably do profound now without using compasses, but in order to do a compass strat, we still need a bit more. So I pretty much need to replace one more ring before we get there. So you can kind of see this is roughly what the damage we're getting, and let's kind of go over what the gear changes were in order to get to that point. So first thing we ended up doing, we ended up changing out the gloves. I think we didn't mention before, these used to be +2. These gloves were +2 agility, but when I ended up crafting a ring or buying a ring, I ended up hitting agility blessings on them, and then I crafted another second weapon as well and also hit agility blessings, so it was kind of perfect. It worked out. So I had to swap my gloves over to tenacity blessings instead, and then I had to swap my belt over to tenacity blessings as well. So all of my tenacity blessings come from these gloves and this belt, and then my fourth one comes from here. And then I get my agility blessings from here, and then from this ring, and then the last one comes from here. And then I can just focus on my focus blessings coming from 2 slates plus the one on the weapon. So keep in mind, you don't have to get your blessings to be the exact same as mine. Any mix of them, you're just aiming for 12 blessings. Basically, at a minimum, you want to just get your +4 to everything. You can get extra blessings after that. But pretty much what we've learned is that since the blessing mod itself is only scaling the damage for desecration, which can only actually go onto an enemy that is going to be elites only. What will happen is, desecration can go on only a single target, rather. So what ends up happening is, for overall clear, when it comes to maps, you are better off actually having channeling stacks as well. So you don't want to go like fully into blessings and ignore your channeling stacks. Otherwise, you'll have really, really good single target damage, but your clear damage will suffer because of it. So pretty much a good rule of thumb is basically like try not to trade too heavily all of your abilities to get channel stacks for blessings, right? So I'm aiming for my 12 here that I'm getting, and then if you look at like the rest of my slates that we have, for example, I focus on channeling stacks for the rest of them. I get my couple blessings here, and then the rest of it is actually just focusing on my channeling stacks and then my blur things that I need on here. The only other adjustments to the gear for now have again just been the new crafted ring, new crafted weapon. I ended up buying this base. I think it was still only like 200. I think I actually ended up paying like maybe 400 FE for this with the T1 affliction already on there, with the blur effect mod, which was nice. I ended up hitting agility blessings right away, which was really lucky. So keep in mind, again, you just need to get your blessing stacks. So if you are on the fence about buying gear, try to get your blessings from your dream crafting first, and then basically build the rest of your gear around it. So for right now, I have this max agility blessing stack here. That's fine. I might end up needing to change things again as soon as I buy another ring here and craft a blessing on it, because what I'm probably going to end up doing, though, is I'm probably just going to end up buying a ring that already has a blessing on it, that doesn't need to be specifically this, right? So you're better off just buying a ring probably already that already has a blessing on it for tier 1, because it's going to be cheaper than hitting your mod with an ultimate ember, most likely, right? Like, you don't need to. You could get lucky and just hit it first try and save yourself money, but realistically, if I do this and I set like the max price at 700, I'll be able to look through and I'll be able to find some rings already that have what I want, and maybe they'll have an agility blessing or whatever plus something else as well, right? So I can kind of just go through here and look through rings. You're looking for under 600 if you can. So because there's going to be quite a few of them already, anywhere between 600 700 depending on what you're aiming for or what you're getting. That's kind of like a good setup here. So definitely search around that way. Try to save yourself a little bit. and you can save yourself a little bit of money there. So craft your rings, basically. You want to basically, again, you're focusing on this reaping cooldown recovery speed. This is the mod that we are getting from priceless items. That is the most important reason, I guess, why we're aiming for the priceless items, because getting that mod is really important, and that's like one of the bigger scalers for the damage of the build. One of the people in chat ended up going from like 7 billion damage to like 180 billion just through over like 1 day of changes from crafting gear, upgrading his gear, and kind of following the advice that I've gotten. So his gear is even better than mine at this point. He just has more of the tier 1 mods completed, and I think he's using like a +4 wind breath convergence. So yeah, he's just in a little bit better state. And then again, upgrading the false god skin at some point will be better as well, or even maybe just to like a truth that's like a +4 or +6 or something like that. Yeah, other than that, for the slates themselves, I think I added these Fallen Starlights, maybe new since the last video. So I have the max focus blessings with the regen, and then max focus blessings without the regen. This slate here, you're just basically aiming for +1 to either persistent or erosion, along with a movement speed. You need to make sure, again, you have this chance to gain blur on defeat mod. It's important for clear to ensure you're constantly refreshing your blur, because the other mod here of gains blur per 5 seconds of wilt, this is basically, it needs to be 5 stacks of wilt on the same target. So if it's not something that's surviving long enough, you're basically never triggering your blur off of this. So you need the other blur mod for when you're clearing, and then this blur mod for when you're doing bossing and single target. For the channeling stacks, you're basically just spam buying max channeling stack slates, and we're trying to roll max channeling stacks and then +1 spell. It's a little hard to do. You can just kind of spend the extra money instead and buy slates that are already max channeling stacks and +1, but that means you're spending like 800 or 900 FE. Alternatively, again, you want +1 spell or a focus blessing. If I could roll a focus blessing or something as well, that would still be good. That would mean I could swap one of these starlights to something else and swap it to a different blessing, or even channeling stacks or whatever, right? So any mix, you just want something that's good for the build. The things I've rolled have been all junk so far, but we'll keep rolling these as we start to get more money. I want to craft that other ring first before I start gambling on slates and things like that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I think eventually, again, with re-rolling the rings as well, I bought this ring, it already had the max ES on it. I'm still undecided if I'm just going to go ES or life. It's probably better for me to just go life at this point. I mean, I guess it could go either way. ES or life is fine. It does definitely take advantage of the mind control a little bit more to be on life. But if we do go ES, then we can fully reserve our life as well. Basically drop precise restrain and just lean into... we can just lean into energy barrier instead. And then we can just use that and reserve more of our life. We could also get more like blur or energy fortress rather. And then we could lean into more blur effect based off of life lost. So something to consider. If we do that, we could also probably run the necklace as well, the phantom necklace. So lots of things to consider. We'll take it from there on the next one, but I'll let you guys know. I'm going to continue to push this specific version of the build. I don't want to make any swaps to split shot or anything else, so I want to complete this one first, and then we'll look into other stuff to see what else is out there. I want to take you guys fully on this journey first. So if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below, and other than that, see you in the next one.